With the violence intensifying in Afghanistan, New Delhi has issued a fresh advisory for immediate evacuation. In a security advisory issued by the Indian Embassy in Afghanistan, all Indian nationals have been advised to make immediate travel arrangements to return to India, and Indian companies operating in Afghanistan have been strongly advised to immediately withdraw their employees out of the project sites. The statement mentions the urgency for the Indian citizens to fly back before air services are discontinued with Afghanistan. The newest advisory issued by the Indian mission in Kabul draws special attention to the Indian media team arriving or currently reporting from Afghanistan. All members of the Indian media have been advised to establish fresh contact with the Indian Embassy. The contact must be established with the Public Affairs and Security Wing of the Embassy for a personalized briefing. This is the third security advisory that's been made by the Indian mission in Kabul. Let's have a look now at the Indian diplomatic presence in Afghanistan. At present, the Indian Embassy in Kabul remains operational. It is the only Indian mission in Afghanistan to be staffed and functioning. Last month, India had evacuated its personnel from the consulate of Kandahar after the closed Kandahar border, after the Kandahar borders were closed with Pakistan. The remaining consulates in Herat and Jalalabad were shut last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And our correspondents have been on the ground getting you those latest updates. Joining me right this minute is our correspondent Anas Malik, who has been getting us the very latest from Afghanistan. He is in Mazar-e-Sharif right now. Also with us is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, joining us from New Delhi. I'll just come to you, Siddhant. First to Anas, who has been getting us the very latest over the past 2 weeks from Afghanistan, traveling across the country. Anas, this latest advisory that's been issued by the Indian side is a sign of a further flare-up in tensions on the ground. What is the latest that you have at this point?
Absolutely, it's a clear sign that India expects things to go from better to worse, or from worse to even of the worst of the scenarios, because what we understand is that these advisories are only issues when there is a threat perception or there are intelligence reports. India earlier today had announced that it would be evacuating its citizens, those who would voluntarily want to return to their country, and in these regards, in just about 2 to 3 hours from now, a special plane would be taking off from the Mazar-e-Sharif airport towards India, which would be having its diplomats, its security officials, and additionally those Indian citizens in Mazar-e-Sharif who would want to head back. Now, this development comes in the backdrop of the renewed offensive that was launched by the Taliban just yesterday on the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. The PD-17 has been under attack. The city is on an unannounced night curfew. We've been advised to stay inside because it's sunset already, and then after sunset or later towards the evening, we see that these clashes, they emerge. There's a pattern to it. I've seen the same pattern in Herat. I've seen the same pattern in Laghman. I've seen the same pattern in Wardak, and now I'm seeing the same pattern as well here in the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. By and large, if I talk to you about the security situation, it is not that great. People here, they are feeling that the Taliban are literally at the gates of Mazar-e-Sharif, and they are. I've been talking to locals, and they've been talking to each other about this Taliban onslaught towards Mazar-e-Sharif, because remember, the province of Balkh, which capital is Mazar-e-Sharif, where I'm standing, has been surrounded by the Taliban. The capital of Saraipul has fallen, Talokhan has fallen, Takhar has fallen, the city of Kunduz and the province of Kunduz has fallen. So by and large, from all sides, the Taliban have surrounded the province of Balkh, and there are tensions that can be felt within the city. Yes, Molly.
Let's just also take a step back and establish for our viewers the significance of these latest developments, Anas, and how crucial this really is, given the fact that the city of Farah in western Afghanistan is now the 7th provincial Afghan capital to fall to the Taliban.
Well, yes, Farah, the province of Farah, or the capital city of the province of Farah, has fallen. It has been claimed by the Taliban. It has been confirmed by the local sources as well. This is the 4th consecutive day since this renewed offensive of the Taliban has been launched. And Farah happens to be in the western side. Again, this is a cause of concern for those within the security quarters, because historically the Taliban was said to be active in the southern side of the country and not on the northern or on the western borders. So when the Taliban started their recent onslaught while capturing these new provinces or new areas, this started from the western side. They went to Nimroz. They captured the provincial capital of Nimroz, Zaranj, which happens to be a very important border crossing and a very important trade route between Iran and Afghanistan. Then they came towards north. On Saturday, they overran the province of Jawzjan and its capital, Shabargan. On Saturday itself, we saw the Taliban claiming Kunduz city. On Sunday, we saw Taliban claiming Takhar and Saraipul. On Monday, again, we saw the Taliban advancing further onwards. So today is the 4th day, 7th province having fallen. This is alarm bells for the government itself. The government clearly it shows that it is going for a firefighting strategy to push the Taliban back, and for these pushes or in order to repulse these attacks, they are heavily dependent on these militias. We saw that in Herat. We're seeing that in here as well. So they are more hopeful towards the people of Afghanistan that they would be putting up a resistance and a fight to the Taliban in order to ensure that their gains are not taken away at the hands of this oppressive regime that the Taliban want to ensure. Yes, Molly.
Right, Anas Malik getting us the very latest from Mazar-e-Sharif. Thanks very much for those updates. Let's also get in a quick word from our correspondent in New Delhi, Siddhant Sibbal, who has been tracking the reactions coming in from the Indian side. Siddhant, like we were discussing with Anas, the security advisory that's been issued by the Indian embassy in Afghanistan is a sign of further flare-up intentions on the ground, and that the situation is worsening. Tell us more about how India is taking no chances at this point and the measures that it is planning to undertake.
Well, the situation on the ground has taken a turn for the worst, and now it looks like there could be a full-blown civil war in the country. It's a matter of time. In fact, the assessment was that Taliban could launch its offensive towards the end of August, when the final troops, the American troops, will be leaving the country. But not only they have launched their offensive early, but it's like a blitzkrieg towards a large portion of the country, and major cities, it looks like, are now under threat. We're talking about the Indian plan. There was, of course, always a contingency plan, and now, of course, it has been put on action. India will be shortly bringing its diplomats and its nationals in the northern part of Afghanistan, especially Balkh province, whose capital is Mazar-e-Sharif, back very soon. But if we look at what's the situation on the ground, it looks like the Battle of Mazar-e-Sharif is all expected to start now. And once, if Taliban overrun the city or the province, we could expect, in fact, the Battle of Kabul to also start. Taliban at the gates of Kabul, and that, of course, means alarm bells will be ringing in the region and across the world. Of course, India is taking diplomatic measures. India hosted the UNSC meet recently, and we saw how various countries spoke at the council. They, of course, sent a message to Taliban that if they are going to come through force, if they are going to capture power through force, they are not going to get legitimacy. And that is the single message the world community, the international community, is giving to Taliban as of now. But it looks like there's a big dichotomy between Taliban sitting in Doha and Taliban on the ground at the battlefield.
Right. We're leaving it there for the moment, Siddhant. Thanks very much for those updates. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.